Hey folks, how are we doing? It's a pretty decent winter's day today. The sun's a bit in and out behind the clouds, so I'm slowly getting blinded, and then I get cold, and then I get blinded again, but that's fine. There's blue sky over there, so it's all very exciting. But even more exciting is this. This is the Osprey Exos 38. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, you will have seen when I walk anything over a day hike, so a multi-day trips, I use the Osprey Exos 48. But of course, that is the previous generation. This pack has just been released this year. It retails at £120 and it comes in the 38, the 48 and the 58. This colour is the tunnel green, and it also comes in blaze black, which I actually really like. It's black with kind of orange on it. It's just, it's a good looking pack, I'll tell you. But what we're going to do is we're just going to basically break down all the key features of this pack that make it the new generation. If you're interested in a comparison between this one and the old Osprey Exos, you're going to have a separate video kind of looking at the differences there. And I'm also going to have another video looking at all the different stuff that you can fit in this 38 pack. So realistically, what could you take on a multi-day hike? Let's get down to it. So the pack itself then, we're going to work our way from the top down to the bottom. Get a good look at that, it's not half bad. The top then, the lid itself is what we call a floaty lid, so it's actually removable. You've got small clips here on the back, so you can take off that top. Say if you were out for a day hike and you knew you didn't need that top space, you could take it off, make this that little bit lighter, nice and easy to use. In the top of the top, we have this big space here. It's a really nice top pocket basically, so you could put food in there, you could even fit an OS map in there, you could put first aid kit, phone, wallet, anything you want in there. Nice easy access to that one, of course, when it's not on your back. So that's got a nice zip there. All of these toggles are glove friendly, so you can use them nice and easy when you're wearing thick gloves in winter. On the underside of the lid is this mesh pocket. This is non-stretchy mesh, so it's not stretchy. And it's a slightly different toggle for this zip. So it's not exactly a security pocket because it's pretty obvious it's there, but it's quite nice to keep things like head torches in here, maybe spare food, cash, anything like that. Also keys, you've got a little key toggle here, bright red, can't really miss that one. So you can keep them nice and secure, they're not going to slip out. It's just quite a nice feature, I think. So as you can see here on the back, you've got these two clips, so I could remove that, and then once that's gone, I can use this flap of fabric and clip that down over the pack, so that would act as my lid. So this is quite nice as well for when the pack is full and you are using the top, is that it kind of just helps to keep everything together when you stuff it in there. So that's the random strip of fabric, which also acts as a lid. We have this toggle, which we can untoggle, and then we have access to this massive cave system that is the Osprey Exos. So you've literally got a massive amount of space. There's no division for a sleeping bag there, it's just one big hole. The only division that you have got in this pack is this here on the back, which is the compartment for a hydration thing, whether whether you use a Camelback or an Osprey version. It's just a hydration sleeve, so you can pop that in there. You can clip it to the top because there's no real bottom to this. It's kind of an infinite size. The hydration sleeve goes all the way from the top down to the bottom, so I don't think anyone carries quite that much water. So it's quite nice to have that clip, and then it's just going to be floating around, and then that kind of comes out over the shoulder if you've got the tube, so you can actually drink your water. So that's the big chasm, and then you've got this red clip here, 15mm in width, sorry. Clip that to the top, you can pull that tight, and that keeps everything nice and secure in your pack. And then you can pop down the floaty lid or the non-floaty lid, pull that tight, and then everything is nice and secure in your pack. So that's kind of the main compartment which you'd fit everything in. On the front here, we have a single ice axe loop. So this is on the left-hand side. Just pop your ice axe in there. Obviously, if you want quick access, just pop it behind your back, but we don't need to talk about that right now. You've also got removable sleeping pad straps on the bottom. When you buy the pack, these are quite tucked away. It actually looks like they've forgotten to put them on, but you can pull them out of the side and then make them nice and loose. So these are 7mm in width. They're really small and lightweight. They are quite fiddly with gloves. If you did put a tent, which you'll see I tend to put my tent on the bottom. It's quite hard to do that when you have cold hands, but again, it's trying to save weight. It's trying to keep this nice and light. Then on the front here, we have this big stretchy pocket. You can see how big that is there. It's got two stretchy panels on the side, and then this fabric here on the front is 100 denier nylon. So the idea with this is you're walking along, dooby-dooby-doo, oh no, I've snagged a rock. is not going to tear. So the previous generation, and I'd hoped not to do many comparisons, but the previous generation, basically it's all mesh, and numerous times I've caught on twigs and rocks and things and it's torn. So that's what they're trying to do with this, and it's exactly the same on the side pockets here. Again, you've got that 100 denier reinforcements so that when you're walking along you can be that little bit more careless or careful, you pick and choose. But if your pack does catch, you're going to be alright, it's not going to tear. These side pockets here, again, they're stretchy mesh as well. I use them for water bottles. What's the really nice thing about this is you kind of got side access here. So if you're walking along, you've got your bottle here, you can just grab it, drink as you go, pop it back in. You've not got this hassle of, I can't get it in, which I think we've all experienced when we walk on our own. So I really do like that feature with the Osprey Exos, and the same with the Osprey Asia as well, which is the women's version of this that they've released this year. We've got lots on the side here, lots of straps, more straps, but these are very useful. These are just compression straps, so once your pack's nice and full, you can pull these tight so that everything is nice and secure. You're not going to have anything rocking about, and it just keeps your pack looking that bit tidier. And then what I'm going to do, flip that over, is I'm going to put it on. It's getting exciting now. A bit challenging with all my hoods here, but there we go. So we've got a nice wide hip belt. That's one of the things I do enjoy about the Osprey Exos, is it's quite chunky. There's lots of backpacks out there that are trying to cut that weight down, but they're really small clips, and again, they're just fiddly with gloves. But what we can see straight away is that there are no hip pockets. For me, that is a big loss. I use hip pockets all the time. This one I tend to have things like compasses, snacks in, and this side tissues, spare batteries for my GoPro. It's all just really accessible, and I love having that there, but that's not here. And obviously that's to try and save weight, but also you can see this little V cutout here. And the idea of this is, whilst it's not very padded, they're trying to remove the padding effectively so that you've got less fabric to cause abrasion and friction on your skin when you're wearing just a few layers in the summer. Obviously kind of in this kind of weather where I'm wearing lots of layers, I'm quite well protected anyway, but that's basically what they tried to do with the design of this. But for me, I think I'd rather have a slightly heavier pack and have hip pockets, but that's just personal preference. If you've not used them before, you don't know what you're missing out on. So this might just work well for you. And of course, the hip belt's just adjustable like that with these little toggles on the side here. So it's all very easy to use. Coming up, we've got the harness itself, the sternum strap. The clip actually has a whistle. There we go. So that's quite nice. A lot of times you forget a whistle, but many packs these days just have that inbuilt whistle. They can be quite loud. That was me being very shy with that. But you also notice there is no pocket here on the shoulder strap itself, which again for me is a loss. I tend to put nice shiny rocks that I collect on the trail, flowers, feathers. It's just like my collection pocket. Some people use them for things like polos and sweets, but again, we haven't got that on this pack, which for some people is a loss. On the side, you can see this stretchy piece of plastic. This basically is the stow-on-you-go trekking pole attachment. So you pop your pole in there, put it in there, pull it tight, and then you can walk off with that attached to your side, and it doesn't get in the way as you walk. So it's a really nice feature. I do enjoy using that. I don't tend to use trekking poles very often at all, but it's still very helpful to have that. And then if I take it off, again, here we go. We can just have a look at the back itself. So this is kind of a trampoline-y mesh thing, and it's actually suspended from the back itself. So you have this mesh against you, then you've got some space, and then you have the frame. So the idea of this is it's just going to really aid the wind whipping away perspiration as you walk, as you work up a sweat. It's not going to be against your back the whole time, and it's supposed to just make it that little bit more comfortable. You'll be able to see that gap when I filled this up, which is the next thing that I'm going to do, so that then you can just really see how much space there actually is. I mean, look, I can fit my hands behind there. It's a real decent amount of space, and I do like that. It's a very solid aluminium frame, but I do like having that space between me and the pack itself. So then the next thing I'm just going to do before we kind of leave you to make some conclusions is I'm just going to stuff this with loads of stuff that I probably take on an overnight trip, so you can see what it looks like when it's full up, and then yeah, we'll just conclude everything and wrap it up from there. Alrighty, so my pack is fully loaded. I've got my tent on the bottom, and everything in here will easily see me through an overnighter, if not 2 or 3 days on the trail, if I'm honest. I was very pleased with how it managed to pack on in there. I just need to put some extra food in and I think I'd be good. I've also got my trekking pole here on the side, so just to really emphasize how it doesn't get in the way. If you're unsure of the terrain you're going to be in, you can just whack them in there, forget about them until you need them. It's really just quite a nice feature with these Osprey packs. You can see how tidy everything looks. I have kept the top on just because I always use the top pocket. I find it very useful, and since there's no hip pockets for my compass, that was the next best place to put it, away from all my electronics. So that's it, guys. I'm going to leave you to make your own conclusion. If you're interested in this generation versus the old generation Exos, then check out the link below. I've done a comparison video. If you're also interested in just how much stuff you can fit in a 38 pack, I've done an unpacking and a packing video, basically of everything I've got in here. So that just might be useful if you're planning your own trips this year. Until then, guys, stay wild.